is quiet and shadows fall, I'll be beside you whenever you call. When worries weigh heavy and fears take flight, I'll be your strength, guiding through the night. And when the days are dark and heavy on your heart, I'll be the voice to guide you through the dim. Strong walls may crumble, but within you've got the spark. Just turn the key, let light dissolve the grim. Did you think you were alone in your feelings? Strike a match, let your inner strength be seen. Welcome to All Things Serious. In the depths of your despair, where demons roam, I'll be the hand to hold. You're never alone. When storms rage fierce and winds blow strong, I'll be the shelter in your soul where you belong. Welcome to All Things Serious.
Welcome, everybody. Hold on just a second. Give me. Had to make sure that my hair wasn't too messy. But you love the change, so I had to switch to like and subscribe to I like it too. Thank you for the advice, Lisa. So Low 12's in the house. What's going on, rapper? Barbarossa, Lisa, Ray Ray, Miranda Lee, how you doing? Hope you're doing well, everybody. So what's going on, Lolo? How you doing? Stephanie, it's good seeing you again. Hello again, Dolphin. Let's pick a topic and discuss it. Tomorrow, you ain't going to see this whole mess right here. I'm going to have my studio set up. Breeze to Wind, welcome. I just saw you over in Brittany's channel. I'm doing pretty good, Lolo. I'm doing pretty good. Insomnia is what I have. I sleep all day and I'm awake all night. I hope. Yeah, my oldest son, he's in his 20s. My oldest son, yeah, he's in his 20s. Restroom break it is, Dolphin. Thank you, Breeze. So the new people that are coming in, you probably noticed by the song and talking about breaking the stigma and mental health matters. Yes, he's a big boy. Yes, he is. Well, I'm taller than him still. Yes. But he's tall, but not taller than me. So I think Dolphin's first panel, she was up on mine. And I broke the fear of being on panel, if I'm correct. Crazy Bunch 005, how are you doing? So what I like to do over here is after hours, Who's Awake, is just to wind down from true crime, because true crime can be hectic. It can be mind draining. It can be emotional. It can be stressful. We wind down over here. But every day at 8 p.m., I'm usually live talking about mental health because to me that's what's important is talking about mental health. So I cover, anxiety, PTSD. Yes, true crime can be draining at times. Yes. Still up trying my best to wind down. That can be difficult, Carolyn. Yes, Ray, breaks are much needed. Much needed. Breaks are. So, Eddie, my days and nights are upside down and it's got to go because I don't get much done. But something about it I love too. Yes, was heavy tonight, especially. So, speaking of chest pains, fighting lonely in pain. Sorry to hear that, Carolyn. So, this channel, I like to talk to people and see how they're doing. And I usually open panel up on Who's Awake to see what people want to talk about. So what I do is I don't know if most of you guys were here. I'm going to open up panel. Anybody's welcome to come up. Anybody. Did I do this? Let me do this. I don't like that pin message. Okay. Anybody want to come up on panel and have a conversation? Well, if you ever need to talk, Carolyn, there's two things I don't like to talk about on my channel. Two things: politics and religion. And the reason why I don't is because I get people from all walks of life here on my channel. So I stay away from those 2 points because I'm mainly a mental health channel where I try to help people and work with people, and and I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. I have my beliefs. I just keep them to myself because I don't want to cause conflict or arguments or disagreements. I don't like that. I don't like arguments and disagreements. You know what I'm saying? I keep it peaceful. Peaceful. This channel, a lot of you know that I've been part of Brittany's channel. I talk about mental health. I talk about mental health, real life situations. That's what we talk about on this channel, what you're going through. If you're having an issue with something, food. We could talk about food. We could talk about movies. Who's Awake is Verticia. Vertica. How are you doing, Vertica? So here, if you have something you're going on with and you need to talk about it, more than welcome. You are welcome here. Okay. It's hard to explain. Um, If you want to come up on panel, you're more than welcome. If something's bothering you, you can talk about it here. If there's something you need to discuss, it's more than welcome. What else can I say? So this channel, all right, give me just a second. Give me just a moment. Let me do this. Hello?
Hello, hello.
Conspiracy Queen. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. How are you? I'm not doing too bad. It's been a little bit of a wild stretch. I think the last time we chatted, we were in Discord, so it's been a little bit.
Okay. And how are you holding up now?
Kind of still fighting a little bit. I went through since I talked to you last, since I talked to the bunch, I guess, last over in Discord.
Yes.
I have been in the hospital. I had pneumonia, had a crazy anaphylactic reaction before that had me in the hospital for a week. And in the 3 weeks that I was in the hospital for pneumonia, plus the other week prior to that for anaphylaxis, I've gotten myself to where I'm trying desperately to finally put cigarettes away for good. It's helped a lot.
It's gonna be difficult, but once you do it and you get past the 72-hour mark, it gets a little bit easier.
Well, and it was, right? Because 3 weeks is a pretty good stretch without a cigarette, right?
Were you in the hospital?
Yeah, the whole time.
That was forced.
Yes.
When you're forced to quit something, you normally don't, you go right back to it.
Well, and I did say to myself, I want to put it down. I want to see, where my health goes, because it seemed like, I was kind of heading down a path of, I've been on a health kick for a while.
Yep.
Trying to, be more proactive with self-care, do better to try to get my mind in a better state of mind. And, kicking sugar and kicking sodas and stuff as much as possible. Pretty much cut out sodas altogether. So that was a big change. Cutting out a lot of salt, that was a big change too. I started panicking when I lost a bunch of weight. And then stress aggravating everything else on top. It's just been a wild ride, man.
I can understand that. Stress is
it's unpredictable.
Stress is deadly. Stress is fearsome.
It is.
And what you got to try to figure out is what's causing those stresses.
Well, yeah, and I know what causes a lot of it. And, not everything you can't really handle everything, right?
Nope.
As a piece.
Yep.
Because when you deal with chronic health issues, it's what you got to deal with,
Yep. You can't stress over it.
It was funny that this live popped up, because I just was reading an article about studies about how people that suffer with chronic loneliness, actually, it rewires your body to a cellular level and rewires your brain to a cellular level, right?
Yep.
And says that, when you look at the cells of somebody that doesn't deal with chronic loneliness, extended periods of time, or, global pandemics aside, when you're already kind of introverted and dealing with chronic health and pain, you kind of already are, socially distanced. But it does start to eat at you after a while, especially when some of the chronic health stuff you're fighting with is a lot of respiratory, and it's related to being susceptible to colds and infections.
You just gave me a good topic to do some research and talk about, Queen.
It's
Chronic
interesting.
loneliness.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we're
A lot of people suffer with
everybody.
it.
Yeah, everybody was hit with it, and the anxiety that people used those social bridges of having routines and normal routines and being able to go out and do stuff.
Yep,
The things that they perceived for them that worked as self-care were taken away from them,
yep.
and it takes some time to not just psychologically.
You still there, Queen?
Because that's something
Yeah.
that I think wasn't really discussed quite honestly often enough, was that people that were constantly fighting with chronic health and, issues and things of that nature, we kind of had to be a bridge for everybody else that wasn't. It was like all of a sudden the whole world got thrown into what it's like to deal with chronic health issues, anxiety, and depression on a massive scale.
What's going on, Miranda?
Oh, I just wanted to say hi. And what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to know if people are too scared to date because of what they have going on in their lives or because of their mental health. I feel
That,
like I carry some shame
so
because of
I'll tell
some.
you this. I'll tell
Oh,
you this,
sorry.
Miranda.
Yeah.
I have been single for 5 years.
I've been single for 5 years as well.
And the reason why, it's not because I'm lonely, it's by choice. And the reason why I chose to be single is because I have a lot going on mentally that I need to fix. And until I can love myself, it's going to be difficult to love somebody else.
I understand that. I do. I was married for almost 17 years, and my ex, he wasn't very kind, and I don't want to blame him for my like self-loathing issues, but that's part of it. But I've worked really hard for the last 5 years to try to like build myself back up, and I just
Confidence.
there's still something holding me back from like taking that step. And I just wondered if there's any other people that have been single for, and I'm like you, it's by choice, I'm sure. I'm not a total cretin, so I'm sure I could date someone, but um, I've just left it this way. And I mean, I have friends, I have my parents, I have my dog who I love dearly, and I feel like I'm not lonely in that sense, but sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out on something, or that having a romantic partner would be nice. Um but there's just something that's preventing me from taking that step, and I just don't know what it is. And I think self-confidence is the biggest thing.
Now, could what your previous relationship was like, could that play a role?
Definitely. Yeah, my ex, he was in the military for many years, and he was just I'm like a very giving, loving person, and he was very like cold-hearted, and we just didn't mesh well. Like I can remember one time there was this like house fire, and I wanted to like take these people some clothing or food and this type of thing, and he was like, no, we have to take care of ourselves first. And I always felt kind of like held down or controlled by what he wanted. And so it just, I could never really, we couldn't relate to each other. We're very different. And he was, to me, he was mean, and he did some things to my daughter and I. He also had a drinking problem near the end of our marriage, which was really terrible, to be honest with you. But I'm much, much happier. I'm in such a better place now that I'm divorced. Like, when I first was gonna get divorced, I was so embarrassed and ashamed and like was just devastated. And then now that I've been divorced for like 5 years, I can't believe I waited so long to get divorced.
Would you
So
say
now,
that potentially it could have been attachment styles were off base? Because that's something that I've noticed with talking with a lot of people is that when you have conflicting attachment styles in the types of interpersonal relationships like marriages, it can create a twisted dynamic. And it seems
Yeah, I'd agree
that
with that.
and that's one of the hard things, right? When you're somebody that you start out a relationship and you've got a secure attachment style, right?
Hmm.
And you go through a long term relationship, decades with somebody. And over the course of time, as women, there are very few things that are, I guess, traumatic for us that we deal with when it comes to a long term relationship. One of which, for me particularly, is when there's neglect in the relationship, whether it's emotional neglect, whether it's physical neglect, whether it's financial neglect, when it seems like there's no more effort from either party, that's when it gets to be the most painful.
Hmm.
And that's
well,
when you can actually develop a type of post traumatic stress disorder from being in that relationship where you just keep giving and giving and giving. And then your secure attachment style can go to a more anxious.
see,
Uh,
it would be so PTSD would be something from a traumatic, traumatized. So you can not have the financial support, but that wouldn't cause trauma. Okay, now emotional abuse would cause trauma.
mm-hmm,
Physical, would cause trauma. SA would cause trauma. But I don't think like emotional support. If you're emotionally neglected, like he's not understanding where you're coming from. I those would be hard to say. It would become PTSD, um, unless it's trauma related. Because
well,
I have PTSD, severe
right,
PTSD.
right,
So mine was from being CA'd and SA'd as a child.
right,
So, and I have flashbacks from it,
right,
which they can be intense.
right.
Like I was reliving it over again, which
Uh,
I,
I'm
bratty
sorry
little
that's
me,
happened to you.
you
Absolutely.
know, a long time ago, I will tell you this, I would have been ashamed to talk about it, even admit it. Um, I did everything under the sun to suppress those memories. Everything. I had them locked away in Pandora's box. Um, but Pandora's box got open while I was in college, and for a while there, my life went downhill. I didn't think I was good for anybody. I didn't want to be with nobody. Um, I was a failure at life. I was a failure at everything. That's where I was mentally. And then I started getting help. I admitted myself in the psych hospital. I did. No, nobody did it for me. I did because I knew I needed help. It was go for a drive off this bridge or go to the hospital. Back then it was serious, but I look at it now and I'm like, man, literally I was in a rough place. I and the way my brain works, okay? So don't take offense to this, anybody. But the way my brain operates with scenarios like that is I look back in my past and I have to laugh at it to make me feel better. It's like, why did I let myself go like that? When people were telling me, Eddie, you need help. Eddie, you need help. And I was ignoring no, I don't. I continue drinking. I was a wreck for 15 years of my life. I destroyed it. I flipped it upside down, backwards, every which directions instead of right side up. I was never on my feet. I was everywhere else. So I'm sorry for interrupting and changing the subject, but there's a lot of people here that don't really know me.
Hmm.
And you ladies up on panel don't really know me. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of why I do what I do in my experience. The reason
Well,
why I created this channel.
it's very much needed and very much appreciated because there's not enough people out there that have gained that kind of level of power back, because I think that's a big piece of healing, is facing that stuff and looking at it and saying, this is not my fault. This is not something I did or was the cause
Nope.
of.
Nope.
It
You
was
can't.
something I endured and survived, and I'm here to be able to talk
Yep.
to help other people.
And that's what I try to do is I try to share what I've been through with other people. Now,
I think it's really important for men, especially, to share stories like what you just told us because there is a stigma, unfortunately, about especially SA, and
Hmm.
victims need to feel like they can come forward without feeling any kind of shame or embarrassment. And as the public, we need to do what we can to support survivors, I should say, instead of the word victim. I apologize.
Right.
And
survivors, yes.
yeah,
Survivor.
survivors, and you know, be accepting, and instead of trying to like say, oh, we shouldn't talk about this. No, we should talk about it. We should bring it to the forefront. We need to expose these people that are doing this. We need to let everyone know that they're not alone in that.
And rip those stigmas down and burn them,
That's why
because
I
the
don't know if you
reality
heard the
is,
song. I don't know if you heard the song, my intro. But during in the video, I put on there break the stigma.
yep,
Mental health matters.
they need to be broken. They need to be broken because men don't get voices the same way women have for a long time. And I think that's criminal and cruel. That kind of goes into this bizarre, cultural phenomenon of like this toxic ideal of what masculine means and what we've
Hmm.
been force fed, right?
Right.
Boys don't cry. Boys shouldn't be, crying, stop crying. It doesn't matter. You're a human being, and human beings have feelings, and those feelings deserve to be heard and validated,
Yep.
Hey,
you
Eddie,
know,
can I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
It's kind of personal. The person who hurt you, were they ever prosecuted or held like responsible?
When I was old enough to travel, I moved back to Florida to see if I could find them. I went back to the trailer park it happened in to see if I could find them. and he was no longer there. Because if I would have found him, who knows what I would have done.
I just find that so many of these people never get held responsible, like in the judicial system.
Well, you know why? It's because a lot of us don't speak
Hmm.
because we're afraid to say something.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the gravest forms of injustice there is that it's such a traumatic experience, particularly when we're young, that there are so many instances where the children feel threatened, the children feel like they don't have a safe space to go to anybody to talk about it, and then that breeds a very negative and very toxic identity that develops from that whole situation and can breed a lot of negativity on your own psyche in terms of what you do to cope, how you cope,
Yep.
the things that you may
So,
gravitate towards to try to understand what happened, all
so
of that kind of stuff.
with me, because I didn't talk about it, my mom didn't even know. My mom didn't know until I was 30. That's how much damage it did to my life. I picked up, if you want to get technical, I had my first taste of alcohol when I was 7. My
Mm.
first taste. There's a lot of things I did behind my mom's back I never told her.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, I should have been sent to a boot camp as a child. Who knows? That what might have straightened me out, might have made me talk, I might have got the help I needed. Who knows?
Well, and we were also coming up in an era where we were growing up on the tail end of the the whole generation that didn't discuss mental illness or mental health, right? It didn't come to be even
Barbarossa,
something that families would talk about until,
yes.
we got to be a little bit older. It was always, if you had somebody in the neighborhood, it was always, don't go over here alone or whatever, everybody they knew, but nobody discussed it, right? They didn't explain it to the children. They didn't explain it to the families. The families didn't talk about it. It was like this big, ugly secret that a community would deal with, but not deal with, if that makes sense. And it wasn't until the 80s when a lot of those institutions were shut down because of the horrific conditions that was going on there and things of that nature and the types of abuse going on there in those institutions on the patients.
Yep, that's the reason why they shut them down. It was
Um,
And,
I
inhumane.
I just
they just
wanted,
turned everybody loose.
sorry, I just wanted to say to Barbarossa, they said, take note, it isn't just men who feel they can't talk about it, and I completely agree.
Yeah, me too.
And
Mm.
I just wanted to say I understand, and I didn't want to make light of what women go through either. I just know that it's not as common, especially publicly, for men to come out publicly and talk about it. And so I wasn't trying to, discount what women have to endure. So I just wanted to add that, and I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings.
Barbarossa
Absolutely.
said, "Oh no, it wasn't taken that way." So,
I'm just really proud of you, Eddie, because honestly, to me, you seem like you've must have come a very long way in your life to get to where you're at today. Like just some of the things that you've shared publicly and the things that you've done.
yeah,
I know I don't know you very well, but just from listening to you and talking to you, and just you're very evolved as a person, and I just think it's amazing, the things that you've done, starting this channel being one of them, to help others.
So I started, believe it or not, I started in true crime. Um, and what got me into true crime, believe it or not, was an artist. An artist that I have a good day at work, TJ, if you hear this. Got me hooked onto the Kylie Rodney case.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then Ryan Upchurch got me hooked onto the Kylie Rodney case.
Very
And then
interesting.
and then he stopped talking about it for a bit. And when he stopped talking about it, I went to YouTube because I wanted to hear more about the story. And then I came across Britney's channel. This was almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been involved with Britney's channel since the Kylie Rodney case. Right after the Gabby Petito case came Kylie Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been hooked ever since. But when we started talking about Quentin Simon and Gannon Stout, that's when I started talking about doing a mental health channel.
Hmm.
Because some of the things, like when it comes to kids, it's like, I'm a protector. Okay.
Hmm.
I wish I could just protect everybody. Okay. And I can't.
Right.
So I wanted to share my story. I actually talked about it on Brittany's channel one time, my story. I gave a little sneak peek to it. And then I created my channel. And the first live I did called My Story, where I talk about my childhood. I'm going to do it again, to refreshen it because it's been almost a year since I did that video. I started my channel in August of last year. So, and I talk about everything mental health related under the sun, even things I don't struggle with, because there might be somebody in the community that struggles with that specific subject, like chronic illness or invisible illness. Somebody with fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis or just arthritis in general or Crohn's disease or anything, you don't see it. That's what I did earlier today. I covered that and talked about it a little bit. PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, paranoia. I talk about all these different types of things because you don't know who's struggling with it. And talk about it. Because me talking about it, I might help them.
Hey guys, I have to go for the night, but I just wanted to say thanks again for letting me be on the
Yeah.
panel. And
Thank you for coming up, Miranda.
yeah, I really enjoy talking to everyone and everyone on this
Are you in
panel.
Discord?
I am.
You're in Brittany's Discord, right?
No, I'm not in Brittany's,
No?
but I do have Discord.
You do. So I'm going to post my email address in chat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Discord platform called All Things Serious.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing a Q&A soon. And I hear and see that you have a lot of questions and you want to learn from me about me. And I'm going to give you my email address so I can send you a link.
Okay.
Actually, I'll put it in back chat. You know where private chat is, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
All right, I'm going to post it right now. Let me know if you get it.
Yes, I did.
All right. So send me an email and I'll send you an invitation link to All Things Serious.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. And then we'll go from there. And even if you're struggling with something, you need to talk privately, I'll give you my ear.
Oh, you're very kind. And Conspiracy Queen, you're very intelligent and very easy to talk to, and you have a lot of great insight.
I appreciate that, darling. To answer your question that you came up with originally, real quick, I went through a good 10 years of being afraid to try to form any kind of relationship with anybody else after I left my ex. And a lot
Hmm.
of that was because of physical abuse and emotional abuse and a lot of depression afterwards. And I've been with my current partner now for going on 13 years.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it's a lot, Like I
Hmm.
said, there's still a lot of things that we deal with. He deals with things on his end, I deal with things on my end, but um, it is hard. It can be hard. And it's hard when you have two people that are both struggling with similar issues, but in different ways, like cope with them in different ways.
Hmm.
I've just found that trying to turn my self care into growing a garden.
That's awesome.
That's a really
Something,
great way to describe it.
yeah,
Well, I'll send you an email, Eddie, and thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
You
you
too,
too.
Miranda.
All right, take
You going
care.
to bed?
Yeah, and I'm gonna get a snack, and I'm gonna say talk to the chat for a minute, and yeah,
Okay.
cuddle with my dog Finn.
Doggy cuddles.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
That's awesome.
All right, you guys take care.
You too, Miranda. Thank you for coming up.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye. That's
Good,
awesome.
good combo. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It was hard for me because I was with him for several years, and we had very different outlooks on life. And if you want to go by the old adage, opposites attract. I was the wild child, and he was the straight laced,
Yep.
straight shooter. And we were very, very different. Similar ideology, but still very different personality wise. And,
So it
when
clashed.
it clashed, it wasn't bad um, all the time, but it was definitely a learning curve I was not used to. Um, I tend to be a little bit more reserved with people I don't know.
Yep.
I tend to have a very small group of people that I, am close with at any given time. And that can be hard too, because most of them are flung all around the country. Nobody's local anymore. And in terms of the conversation with the loneliness thing, right?
Yep.
I know that one of my issues that I struggle with, and I've been struggling with, I know you said you don't do the religious aspect, but I've gone to prayer battle with this over abandonment issues since I was a little kid, and I understand. And I brought up attachment styles for a reason because I have more of a secure, but there's enough in there that's kind of an anxious attachment too because I grew up with a parent that was struggling with chronic health issues.
Yep.
And she was a caregiver to one of her parents who had severe health issues as well. So, in a lot of ways, I was kind of everybody's caregiver at the same time from a very early age. I didn't get a chance to be a kid and
Yep.
had my
I
own chronic
agree.
health issues.
I
And
agree with
dealing
you.
with dealing with this chronic feeling of abandonment, right? It causes like this push-pull thing within a person where you're so desperate to have close relationships and friendships and, build those connections with people. But at the same time, you know, you understand, I've been here for almost 46 years now. And I know that, you're going to have seasons where you'll have people bump into you for a little while. You're there to help each other. You're there to lend an ear. You're there to listen, help problem solve, lift them up, whatever it may be. But sometimes it's just for a season. And I really struggle with that. I know it because that's just what life is, right?
Yep.
But I do struggle really, really difficult with losing people. And that's something that causes like the chronic loneliness to just infiltrate and infect you, particularly when it's quiet, when it's the middle of the night, when you should be going to sleep, but your brain just won't cut off.
Nope.
And you go back through this whole concept where you're replaying all of the conversations that you've had before with people, questioning whether or not you said the right things. Did you listen enough? And
I used to. Now I think before I speak. And then once I speak and get it off my system, I move on. I don't dwell on before. I used to. And some of the things you said, if you dwell on it, it's not healthy for you.
right. And that's the hard part, to get yourself,
Yes.
to teach yourself to get to that point where you let things go, because it's unproductive to
Dwell on
replay
it.
things over. Yes, to dwell on it
Yes.
and to replay over the 101 ways you could have done better or said better.
Yep.
And that was something I was kind of looking at prior to seeing this pop up. So it was kind of one of those beautiful, happy circumstances, right? Or
Yes.
beautiful, what is it? Synchronicity. That's the word I'm looking for. Because I think that, during the process of trying to heal some of these things, it's important to remember that there's a handful of things, both from a listening aspect, that we have to teach ourselves, right? That silence can be a good thing. Right?
Yes.
Think before you speak, like you said, is one.
My mom
Two,
used to say, put your mind in gear before you put your mouth in motion.
there you go.
Yep. She's 76.
I think one of the other ones is, and this is something more recently that I've struggled with, was when you're in a heightened state of emotion, whether it's, anger or, just being overwhelmed, or whether you're really, really depressed, or whether you're grieving a
Good night,
loss.
Low 12. Sweet dreams, Miranda Lee. Sorry.
Good night.
I just
All
had to
good.
let people know good night.
All good. But it's important to remember to just don't act, because that was a problem that I did have that was not my typical way of handling things, right?
Yep.
So much was going on in my life all at once that I let kind of the chaos of everything pull me into the current.
Yep.
And that's hard.
And that's what a
hard to
lot of
admit.
us do.
It's hard to admit.
Yes. Some of us love the chaos. We don't realize it, but some of us do. And that's the unhealthy
hard.
part.
It's hard, but at the same time, that comes from a place of anger and hurt and bitterness.
Yes.
And that's a really tough one to let go of, because
Yep.
you're never going to get closure from things. You're never going to get your point made. You're never going to be heard
Nope.
in a way that doesn't come across as confrontational.
Correct. That's why you got to move forward and just
Right. Even if you let time, pass before you have a conversation about whatever it was, you have to really think about it and say, okay, is it better to continue to fight in an unproductive, topic? Or is it better to just let it be? The horse is already dead. Don't keep kicking it.
especially when that person's already set in their ways.
Or better yet, when you're both kind of in the progress of trying to figure out what to do. And you've been in a cycle where you're trying to get out of that bitter argument cycle and just let it rest. Not that,
Mhm.
you dismiss incorrect behaviors or disrespectful behaviors or things of that nature, but you have to let it go because it does you no good. It becomes its own vicious cycle of toxicity. It creates toxicity in your brain. It creates toxicity in your spirit. It creates toxicity in your life. And if anybody doesn't understand quite what that means that you stop living your life
Yep.
and you become trapped in a repetitive thought loop
You do.
of the things I should have done, the things I should have said. Maybe if I say it this way, right?
That's
To the
why.
point that the other person just feels constantly attacked and you have to let it alone.
Oh, you trying to read my shirt? It's called. Sorry. Bratty Little Mia says, I have a dream. It's a Martin Luther King shirt. I have a dream. 1929 to 1968. I have a dream. Martin Luther King.
That's a good point.
Yep. Sorry. Somebody in chat.
That's a good point. That's actually a perfect segue too.
Having a
I
dream.
think when you get to the point to where you want to have that dream and not just have it, right, but to be able to put it into motion and live it.
Yep.
That's the beauty part. That's the moment where you step into healing. When you go and tell yourself, okay, I look at this me here. I can see the path that I'm going to go down here. And I can see where I've been, and where I've been is just misery. And it's
So
time to go over here.
Barbarossa said, when you finally come to the realization that there are things you can't fix or control, you just need to let it go. It will feel like a weight has been lifted. And it's not always easy, but you can do it.
That's where I'm trying to get to. Because
Change is difficult. Change is really difficult.
it is, but it's necessary because we are not static. Nothing in life is static.
Correct.
The seasons come and go. Plants grow, they die.
Yep.
Children grow up and we get older every day.
Yep.
There's a new gray hair in the mirror every time I look in that sucker.
I look in the mirror and I see gray hair in my beard and I don't look as old as I am.
Well, and that's the funny thing, I think. I don't look at them as, I don't
I
look
look
at
at
them
it
as
as
a
knowledge.
negative. They're my life highlights.
Yep.
I went through, during that 10 years, several very dark periods of my life where I was having night terrors. I was having constant emotionally draining experiences. And I spent 99% of my day as a high functioning person with severe depression. You know, you'd never know it to look at me directly, but the second I got, in my house behind my bedroom door, I just collapsed. And I'd wake up multiple times every night and just drenched in sweat, couldn't sleep, thoughts racing, and had during that point in time several suicide attempts. And one of the last ones involved me in a car and a bridge.
Got to be careful of the words we use.
Gotcha.
Yes, YouTube.
So I think a
I
higher
heard what
power.
you said, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, that's the beauty part, right? To be able to have the time and the space to look back on that moment
Yep.
and say, that was not supposed to be how my story finished.
Nope.
I wouldn't have my children.
Nope.
And as much as I grieve the people that they look like, because neither one of them look like me. I carried them, but I have a mini version of my grandmother and my mother and my dad.
Isn't that usually how it happens? I don't look nothing like my mom. My mom is brown hair and brown eyes. Okay. I grew up wondering who I looked like because the last time I saw my father, I was 4, so I didn't remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Until I was 23 when I moved back to Florida and got to meet my dad's side of the family. I go over to my grandmother's house and she's like, "You want to see what your dad looks like? Go look at that photo hanging up." So I go and look at that photo, and there's my dad. And I'm like, "Grandma, no wonder I get my looks from." She's like, "Yep, you're your dad's son. There's no mistaking it, no mistaking that at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're a spitting image of him."
Well, that's what cracks me up with my oldest, right? As much
Yep.
as she frustrates me because she's so much like me in so many different ways, but she has her own very independent, very unique, stubborn streak that reminds me so much of my mother. And I'll catch little moments where she'll, giggle with this expression on her face, and I can see my mother.
Yep.
And for me, it's like the bittersweet heartache to see somebody, that expression, and see the face of somebody I miss so much that I was fortunate enough to survive to bring into this world and have again, even just because of the face.
Yep.
And it kind of reminds me every day that even though I struggle, as long as I can talk to my children and tell them that it's okay to struggle, it's okay to make mistakes, but the important part is getting up and doing it every day. Getting up and facing it every day. It's okay to have a bad day.
Yes,
As long
it is
as they
okay.
know, as long as they know that it's not them, it's nothing they did.
Correct.
We can work around it, and the bad day becomes a better day.
Yes. What's going on, sweet misery? How you doing? So I would love to have you up on panel one day during the day talking about any subject. We figure out a subject that relates to you. We could talk about it. Hello, sweet misery.
Hi, Eddie. How are you?
We're doing just fine. Well, I'm doing okay.
Hi, Conspiracy Queen.
Hello.
I came in late. I just popped in and I was just wondering what you guys were talking about.
We were talking about, it started off, we were talking about chronic loneliness. You know what that is?
Yes, I deal with it every day.
That's what we were talking about. And then it branched off from chronic loneliness to, chaos. We were talking about how to remove ourselves from chaos and creating change and eliminating chaos from our lives. So, yes, we
Did
were
you
just bouncing around different subjects.
did you still want me to come up one day about BPD?
Which isn't that called DID now?
Borderline personality
Yes,
disorder.
yes. I would love to do a live about borderline personality disorder with somebody who struggles with it.
That would
Because,
be
so I'm going to give you my email address, okay? Are you
okay.
in Discord, Sweet Misery?
No.
No? All right. I'm going to give you my email address. Send me an email. And then we can schedule a day to do it.
Hi, Richie. My friend Richie wanted to get in contact with you. Can he maybe get in your Discord? He has Discord, I don't.
Okay.
Or he was going to email you, whichever thing. He just wanted to get in touch with you. He's in chat.
I'm putting my email in chat.
Okay, I got it.
I just put my email in chat.
Right on.
Okay. So send me an email and I'll post a link. I'll send you a link.
Okay. Well, I started working, so I'll have to like go around that, that
Yep.
schedule.
That's fine. That's fine. I do lives Sunday through Saturday at 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. So, and usually when I'm live at this time, we talk about anything and everything. It could be movies, it could be music, it could be mental health, it can be any subject, away from true crime. It's basically to wind down from true crime.
I saw you went live right after Brittany ended.
Yes, yes. I usually do. Usually her followers come over to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, my channel wouldn't even exist.
Really?
Yeah, she helped me.
I only get like 5 or 6 people in my life.
Well, you're still building. You're still growing. So I bounce around to different panels. I get up on other panels that are out of this world and I talk about mental health. And they'll post my channel link in their chat and people will come over, and a lot of them, are going through something and they talk about it. So mental health is a very important subject and not a lot of men talk about it.
That's true.
Yep.
You know,
I'm just like my dad, and he's in denial. He won't get help, and I accept the fact that I am who I am and am getting help, and I just wish he would too. But like you said, it's a man.
yeah, mine's going through the same type of thing too. For the longest time, he didn't want to address any of his mental health issues because of his grief in relation to losing his father,
Um,
orphan, and I understand what that's like, you know. Um, Thankfully, I think I came into his life at a very necessary time, and our bond formed the way it did because, you know, like I said earlier, I don't think you were here at that point, but, you know, I was saying that for me, I've realized that it's hard for me to lose people, whether it's just people gravitate in and out of your life, you know, people need help, you know, we go through seasons together, we grow through circumstances and experiences, and for whatever reason, you know, they move on with their life and go on about their life. And sometimes for me, that's really difficult, you know,
I
but
just posted Sweet Misery's channel in chat.
okay,
thank you.
but it is necessary, you know. And I saw somebody else had written about chaos, growing up with chaos in their life. That's something that seems to be a very common thread for people. If you grow up in a really chaotic home where there's always, you know, a lot of um, arguing, a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of fights, you know, that creates a pattern of normalcy and wires our brains to that being the norm. And
And
as
they say that, I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick. They say that's why I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, because my childhood was just those three things that you just said.
right. And it's hard because, you know, as an adult, you have to understand that that's not the norm, that screaming and yelling is not the normal way to communicate, that slamming doors is not the way to communicate, breaking things is not the way to communicate, hands on each other is not the way to communicate, you know, and it takes a lot of healing and help to get out of those patterns. And, you know, as people that have dealt with things like that in their lives, when we go on, if we go on to have families of our own, it comes to us to learn how to break those cycles because we have to.
Mhm.
We have to heal us. And I've heard it said again and again and again, and it hits every single time I hear it, that our children are essentially who we are healing in ourselves. And the
What happens
things
when you
that,
don't have children?
oh, I have two. I have very, very
No,
spirited.
I have none. So I can't treat my children any type of way because I don't have any.
Right. But there's still a lot of healing that we can do, whether we have families or no, that's necessary to understand that we have to create the healthy patterns that we need in our lives and create the peace, create the safe spaces in our lives, create the safe people in our lives and allow them to be safe people and trust them to be safe people, you know, because it's hard when you spend years with people as friends, you know, as partners, and they were your safe space. And then over time, they just become somebody else as, you know, time goes on.
Every single thing you have mentioned is me. It's crazy. I just got out of an 8-year abusive relationship where I got beat for 8 years. And in the beginning, it was like, everything was perfect. And then it got to the point where
The mask
I
fell off.
started getting. What's that?
The mask fell off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but
I
when it's hard when you when you're in love with someone and you think that you can help. I know you can't fix people, but you can help. You know what I mean? And that's all I wanted to do was help him be a better person. But evidently, drugs was more important than I was. So I left 2 years ago.
Are you doing better now?
Yes, I'm finally to a point in my life where I'm able to talk to other guys. I haven't in the 2 years that I tried to get over him.
It can be hard, but you're making progress, and that's what matters, even if it only
Yes,
feels like a
ma'am.
little tiny step.
Time
I'm
heals all
trying.
wounds.
Hmm.
Time heals all wounds. That's all you can do is just take time to heal wounds. Time
Yep,
heals all wounds.
sometimes the wounds are deeper and takes longer and it sucks in a way.
It does. It does. It does.
I think that's one of the biggest motivations behind deciding to grow a garden
Me,
because
me, me, and my. I will tell you this. I'm legally separated, and when me and my wife separated, it was because she chose her addiction over our marriage. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
getting help, she chose it over our marriage. So we separated. Well, I'm not from Tennessee. I lived there, but that's not where I'm from. I'm from Florida and I have family in New Hampshire. So I went back to Florida. Well, in the meantime, I couldn't legally take my son. And I didn't know that she failed a drug test and the state took my son from her.
Oh,
They didn't reach out to me, they didn't contact me or nothing. So I didn't know that my wife had lost custody of our son until it was too late. She played it
wow.
off like everything was going great, everything was fine, this, that, and the other thing. And now it's too late because it's been too many years in between since I've been there for my son, like physically been there for my son. So it's tough, you know. So she'll never get custody of our son again. It's not like I can't see mine, but she'll never get custody again. She won't even sober up. What's going on, rapper? How you doing? So I'm my youngest son is going to be 8 in October. 9. Let me correct that. 9 in October. So just taking it one day at a time. That's all you can do. That's
I'm
all you
trying.
can do.
I'm sorry to hear your story, man.
Yeah, everybody has a story. Everybody's going through something. You know what I'm saying? No story is worse than the other. That's all I'm going to say is you don't know what that person's going through. I never judge. You never judge a book by its cover.
No.
Nope. Until you get to know the person, you still don't judge them because, yeah, you might have a horrible situation to you that's horrible. To them, it might be the worst. So you don't know how people cope. That's why when I created this channel, I treat everybody equal. Okay, I don't treat anybody less than me, or I don't act less than them. You know, we have a neutral understanding is that we all need help. And we all be there for each other.
I
And be
appreciate that. I
yeah.
appreciate your channel.
And you're always welcome, sweet misery. You're
there's
always
not enough
welcome.
of them out there, and to have a safe space to be able to have these conversations. You know, I don't know you guys, but you know, something compelled me to come over and come talk this evening about this stuff and to just join the chat because, you know, I think as we're aging, you know, these conversations are necessary. It's necessary to have a conversation about ways to combat, you know, chronic loneliness. You know, it's
Y-
more
y-
than just chemicals in your brain or, you know, what have you. Sometimes it's location, sometimes it's circumstances, sometimes it's actual illnesses. You know, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's you know, something else, you know, health related. But being able to have a place to say, okay, today I'm not going to deal with that. Today I'm going to have a conversation with these fine people and, you know, hopefully somebody will gain something from it and tomorrow will be better. You know, tomorrow will be better. That's all I keep telling myself every day. Every breath that I get in the morning, today will be better.
Rapper, I got a question. Did I meet you yesterday? Well, yeah, yesterday morning. Did I meet you yesterday morning on Haley's platform, Haunting Haley's platform in Discord? Just asking if it was you. Megan L., how are you doing?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought this Ben and Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie, and I have yet to find a piece of brownie in this chocolate ice cream. I need my brownies.
I just saw something like that the other day. It was
Does it taste like a brownie?
No, I'm supposed to have chunks of brownie in here.
It
he
might be at
got
the bottom.
scammed. I saw something like that the other day. It was a picture of a little tub of Oreo ice cream, and it looked absolutely like just plain vanilla. There wasn't nary an Oreo in it. Mm. But yeah, I think I would recommend to anybody grow something just for your well-being. Grow something.
I am growing
Because
something, but I can't talk about it on his channel.
Nope.
fair enough. Fair enough. But the time and the effort and the focus that it takes to keep something like that alive, to bring it to fruition, whether it's food, whether it's flowers, whether it's just pretty plants,
Yep.
can make a lot of difference. It actually helps you feel better, especially when you can actually get your toes. Now that the weather's starting to warm up, you can get your toes in the grass and
Oh, yes, ma'am.
plant your bottom on the grass and connect with nature. It makes a big difference. It really does. It changes your whole bioelectric field. It pulls all
I
of the
want to. I
negative
want to.
ions out of your body, makes you feel better.
I want to reach out to Rapper real quick. Rapper,
Mm.
I'm in Discord. I'm on the same platform that you are on, Haunting Haley's. So if you want to reach out and talk, I am free. You can send me a message. If you're struggling with something, you're more than welcome to message me. My name is All Things Serious over there, just like here. You know, it's the same everywhere. So if you need to talk, you're going through something, I'm more than there to talk. So, I just letting you know, bro. And thank you for the congratulations. Yes, I've been working hard.
That was very sweet of you, Eddie. And Rapper, I really hope that you take him up on that. That would be really good for you, Rapper.
So,
Richie said he emailed you.
yeah, I got it. I was getting ready to acknowledge him real quick. I was going
I'm
to let him know.
sorry.
It's okay, sweet misery. All right, Lisa. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Lisa.
So, Richie, when I have time tomorrow, I'll reach out to you. I got a busy day tomorrow, but afterwards I'll reach out to you.
Hey,
got a lot.
Rapper. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm thinking out loud. We got a lot of fire trucks going again. I keep having to hit mute. We had
Oh, no.
a barn fire earlier today that had, yeah, there's a lot of fire trucks. Okay. We had a barn fire down towards my kids' school that actually had one of the buses have to turn around and take all the kids back. And it's not too far from here. And I'm wondering, did the thing catch again? Because it was
Good
about
night,
12
Breeze.
hours ago. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Stephanie, you
I
off to
hope
bed?
everything's okay. Good night, Stephanie.
Is everybody saying good night as a hint?
I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and jump though, but I do appreciate the chat.
Yes,
I appreciate y'all. Eddie, thank you for letting me up here to come chat.
you're welcome,
Misery,
Conspiracy.
grow something,
It was
darling.
nice meeting you,
Alrighty.
Conspiracy Queen.
You too, and I'll catch up with y'all again here soon.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Anna Jackson. Welcome. You're always welcome. If you're ever going through something you need to talk about it, you're more than welcome. So,
Can I be a
Yeah.
smarty pants to Rapper?
yes.
Okay. Rapper, if you ever go in a channel under a troll account, please don't spell absolutely, because we will definitely know that it's you. Because you totally misspelled it. So
Kentucky
definitely
Lee.
don't.
Rapper's been doing pretty good. I like Rapper.
Me too. He knows I got his back. I'm his mama.
Just popping in to say, hey, gonna go to sleep. Love you all. You're in my thoughts and prayers. Would mean a lot if y'all do the same. Night. All right, Kentucky Lee. You know how to get a hold of me. So, all right, it's getting to be about that time. Oh, you just woke up, Kim? And Bratty Little Me's like, I'm here until you kick me out. I bet you Sweet Misery is the same way. I'm here until you kick me off panel.
As the judges said, right, Brady?
Megan L's like, it's only 6 p.m. here. She's all the way in Australia.
It's
Is it
only
correct?
1:30 here.
Yeah, you're out west.
Yeah.
I'm on the east side.
Well, I'm on the west side.
East side? I can't even do it right. My fingers. We got Liverpool in the house. Just call me Hen. How you doing?
All right. Well, thanks for having me on panel. I
You're
really
welcome,
appreciate
sweet Miss
it.
Reed.
And I'll email you about
Yeah,
doing a
time.
show with you.
Yeah, Richie's like the
That
right
sounds
coast,
good.
the East Coast, the right coast.
The right coast.
Yeah.
I'm not even calling my side the left coast. That ain't happening. I'll stick with west side. What?
It's funny.
All right, Eddie. You have a good night. I'll see you another
I hope
time. in real life.
I hope you find some brownies.
I did find 2 pieces while I was up here. Maybe I need to stay on panel and I'll find more brownies. I'm just joking. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Bye. So it is TJ from Liverpool. Okay, I thought you were in the same area, Hen. So Buckinghamshire, UK. All right. I thought all of you guys were from Liverpool. uh, I've had 2 of these of coffee right here, and I'm not jittery or wired. I could go to sleep right now. You know how coffee gives people energy? All caffeine does for me is gets rid of my headaches. Here, so Buckinghamshire. Okay. That's fine, Bratty little me. You just let me know the day, and I'll ring your phone. And then when you answer, I'll be like, "How you doing?" Uh, yeah, when people call me, I answer the phone, and I'm always like, "How you doing?" I'm yawning over here. Off 1729 has entered the chat. How you doing? Hen don't answer her phone. So put a 1 in chat if you're a texter. Put a 2 in chat if you love talking on the phone. Put a 1 in chat if you love texting. put it 2 in chat if you prefer to answer the phone, talk on the phone. Because some people prefer texting over talking, and some people prefer talking over texting. See, I'm a talker. I'm not a texter. I prefer talking than texting. Other people prefer texting over talking, if that makes sense. So if you put a 0, that means you do both. I talk on my computer too. Yes, I'm talking on my computer right now to you guys. Oh, yeah, I'm getting tired. I gotta be up early. You got me for another 10 minutes. Correct, Richie. Correct, Richie. I want to hear the person's voice so there isn't any confusion to the tone of what they're saying. Welcome in, Bailey. I put a 3 because I do both. Okay, bratty little me. All right. Barbarossa said, we'll have no more of that yawning now. Sweet Misery says, I don't talk on the phone because I've always been ignored, so I stopped talking. 3 or a 0, whatever one you choose, but everybody's saying 0 because they don't text or talk. Okay, 0 is neither. 3 is both. All right. So enough is enough, Barbarossa says. So bratty little me, if you want me to reach out to you at some point tomorrow, I can do that. I'll reach out to you and Richie both tomorrow. See, Kim is me. I rather talk on the phone. Yes. Yes, sir, me Bob. Yes, sir, me Bob. I prefer talking on the phone, George. Yes. uh, see, when you text somebody, it leaves your words correct, Bailey. It leaves your words up to interpretation. Yes. That's the problem with texting. So, but when you talk to the person, you can hear the tone of their voice. Yes, it depends. If somebody that you don't really want to be bothered by, texting is fine. But like if it's one of your friends and they're asking you questions, like something serious, they want to hear I'd rather hear the person's voice. I'd rather hear their voice. See, I like to hear the person's emotions when you talk on the phone, because texting, like if like say for example, right? Say for example, I'm going through something, right? And I need to talk to somebody. Sitting here trying to express it is not going to happen. Yes, and you can't hear my awesome laugh through a text. Kim says. I didn't say it, she said it. You wouldn't be able to hear my awesome laugh through a text message. Unless I sent a voice message. Just saying. I always talk people to sleep. Yes, Hen, I agree. I agree. I will often ask people if we can talk when having a message exchange because it's easier than typing. See, it's just easier. It's easier. And plus, if you're going through something, you rather talk to the person than text the person. But I'd be like right here, boo-hooing, tears coming down my eyes trying to text. Yeah, that's going to work. Just saying, that'll work for me. So, but I am going to hop up off here. I'll reach out to you, Bratty Little Meat, tomorrow at some point. I'll reach out to you, Richie, at some point. Um, if you're in Discord or you want to join Discord, All Things Serious, go ahead and email me. Send me an email if you want to join Discord. And I'll set you up with the link so we can stay in touch if I'm not live. You guys are more than welcome to join Discord and hang out with yours truly. So, all right, everybody, thank you for being here. I'll see you the same time tomorrow. Cindy Rose, just popping in. It's good seeing you in here, Cindy. I hope you're well. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, later today, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll figure out what the subject is, or I'll just do a Let's Talk episode. I'll probably do a Let's Talk episode. So, yes, Cindy, you got here a little too late. I'm getting ready to go to bed. So, I love you guys. You guys are an amazing group of people. I will be here same time tomorrow, 2:30 in the morning. I have such a busy day tomorrow, so I'm going to be live at 8 p.m. I might be live late because I got so many things I have to do. Or I'll probably wait until 2:30. Because I usually do a live at 8 p.m., but I got a lot of things I got to do tomorrow. So you probably won't see me until 2:30 a.m. So, all right, everybody. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, same time. All things serious, out. Good night, friends.